Hello everybody, ProtoFoxy here, coming back at you with another video, and we are back on the sweet Pauper Guild playmat. Link in the description below to do more deck techs because I love Magic the Gathering and I love sharing my decks with you. Today we are heading into the Pioneer format. This is Mono Black Aggro. Really fun deck. Can't say enough about it, and it's Mono Black, and that's probably my favorite color in Magic. Anyway, all of that aside, we've got 4 Knight of the Ebon Legion, single black for a 1/2 Vampire Knight. It reads 2 generic and a black. It gets +3/+3 and gains Death Touch till the end of the turn. At the beginning of your end step, if the player lost 4 or more life this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Knight of the Ebon Legion. Damage causes loss of life. This card can get on a hand in a hurry. It's very super aggressive, a lot of fun. And those counters, that's not till end of turn, those stay, so he just keeps stacking. Great aggressive 1-drop there. Boom! We've got 4 Blood-Soaked Champion. Single black for a 2/1 Human Warrior, can't block. Has Raid, which Raid you pay a generic and a black. It can return to the graveyard of the battlefield. Activate this only if you attacked with the creature this turn. Another great aggressive creature. And nice to see that Blood-Soaked Champion here is seeing some life again in a format, because that was a lot of fun in the standard of its time when I did play standard, and I really wanted that guy to stick around and be a thing. And it's nice to see him, kind of coming back. We've got 4 Dread Wanderers. Single black for a 2/1 Zombie Jackal. Enters the battlefield tab. 2 generic and a black. Return it from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery and if you have 1 or fewer cards in your hand. Again, nice aggressive stuff. Nice, 12 1-drops. That tells you exactly the direction we're going, right? We've got 4, count them 4, Kite Sail Freebooters. Single generic and a black for a 1/2 Flying Human Pirate. And then when it enters the battlefield, target opponent reveals their hand. Choose a non-creature, non-land card from it. Exile it with Kite Sail until it leaves the battlefield. Nice stuff there. Nice stuff going on. We've got 3 Murderous Riders. Single generic and 2 black for a 2/3 Zombie Knight with lifelink. When it dies, put it at the bottom of your own library. It also has an adventure. Swift End. Single generic, 2 black. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. You lose 2 life. Real nice to have. Nice aggressive creature for one. Murderous Rider is. And it's a zombie, and that's my favorite, creature type. But the Swift End is also really nice to have because the adventures happen at instant. It says instant speed, that adventure anyway. So it's really good to have options. Really good to have options. On to the next one. We've got 3 Spawn of Mayhem. 2 generic, 2 black for a 4/4 Flying Trampling Demon with Spectacle, which is a generic and 2 black. You can cast it for its spectacle cost rather than its mana cost if an opponent lost life this turn. So second main, he drops down for 3, and that's really ridiculous. At the beginning of your upkeep, Spawn of Mayhem deals 1 damage to each player. Then if you have 10 or less life, put a +1/+1 counter on Spawn of Mayhem. Bam! We got Spawn of Mayhem. Next, we have 3 Rankle, Master of Prankles. It's Rankle. He's kind of an all-star in Standard for a while. Nice to see him doing really well in Pioneer. 2 generic, 2 black, flying and haste, Fairy Rogue, 3/3. Whenever it deals combat damage, you can choose any number of things to do. And it's each player discards, each player loses 1 life and draws a card, each player sacks a creature. Ridiculous stuff. So he hits the battlefield right away and immediately starts putting in work. We've got 4 Scrap Heap Scroungers. Another recent creature that I really dig. 2 generic for an artifact construct, 3/2, can't block. Generic and a black, exile another creature card from your graveyard. Return Scrap Heap Scrounger from your graveyard to the battlefield. Again, recursive, good stuff. That's what we do in aggro decks. We want our creatures to just be super aggressive and just keep coming back, don't we, folks? Yes, we do. That's the answer ProtoFoxy's looking for. That's what we like. Creatures are a lot of fun in this deck. Let's go on to the other spells now as I'm babbling on. We've got 4 Fatal Push. 3 of those are foil. Yes, they are. Make me happy. You know what Fatal Push does. It's an all-star since it's been printed. Just look at it. Just look at Fatal Push. Such a nice card. Bam! We got 4 of those. We've got 3 Thoughtseizes. Again, we know what Thoughtseize does. Let's just look at it. Take it in. Just take Thoughtseize in. Look at that. Bam! We got 3 Thoughtseizes. And that is the other spells of this deck. It is an aggro deck, so not much going on outside of creatures. Now we go into the mana base. Now, I take a little liberty here. I like Nykthos in my monocolored decks because why would you not play Nykthos in a monocolored deck? Nykthos is a legendary land, adds 1 color or 1 generic to your mana pool. 2 and tap it. Choose a color. Add to your mana pool an amount of mana of that color equal to the devotion of that color. We got enough black pips in here that can get out of hand, and you're playing stuff basically without tapping your lands. We got 1 of those. We got 3 Castle Lockflames. Enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a swamp. It adds black. And then if you pay a generic and double black and tap it, you draw a card, lose life equal to the number of cards in your hand. Boom. Real nice stuff going on there. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. 20 basic swamps. Simplicity, beauty, it's all we need. Bam. There we go. That is the deck. That is Mono Black Aggro in Pioneer. Fun deck. Really fun deck. At one point, it was top tier. I think now it sets around like 1.5, maybe 2. I mean, it shows up, does some work, does some decent stuff, but it's just a fun deck. I will say that Blue-White Spirits and Pioneer completely wrecks this deck's face, no matter what I try. But it's a fun deck. It's super aggressive. It can win out of nowhere. It has enough to grind your opponents out with the Kitesail Freebooter, Castle Lockflame, stuff like that. You're just getting value. And I play Nykthos just because, why, if you're playing a monocolored deck, would you just not play Nykthos? Just doesn't make sense to me. Again, sideboard is dependent on your local meta, all that good jazz. Hopefully, if this is a thing that's up your alley in Pioneer. And actually, without the Nykthos, I added the Nykthos, but you can actually put this deck together. I mean, Rankle is a bit expensive. And not even all that expensive, really. This deck is actually not a super expensive deck to put together. So the barrier of entry for Mono Black Aggro for Pioneer is really low. So it's like, and then you can even do a budget version of it, and it's still competitive because, I mean, obviously you've got the 1, 2, 3 shot of Knight of the Ebon Legion and then Dread Wanderer and Bloodsoaked Champion, and those are just hyper aggressive, hyper efficient creatures. But all in all, it's not an expensive deck, so your barrier of entry is low. Upgrading it is not all that difficult to do. I put in Nykthos, and it works out well for me, except against Blue-White Spirits. But anyway, this looks like it's your bag. Give it a whirl. It's a lot of fun. Just you're turning creatures sideways, and you're having a good time. All that being said, if you liked the video, give it a like. If you did, shoot a subscribe my way. I'd greatly appreciate it. Leave you all with this. Wash your hands, wear your masks if you choose to protect yourself and your fellow human beings, and be kind to those said human beings. And I will see you in the next video. Pauper Guild playmat. Link in the description.